From the worldwide headquarters of EAS and Muscle Media Magazine, we're pleased to bring you this up-close and personal one-on-one interview with national sports talk show host Dan Palomino and our guest, Ralph Zangara.
39 years old from Clarence, New York. Ralph is 5'11", 216 pounds. As the 1997 Physique Transformation co-champion, Ralph lost 47 pounds while gaining 8 pounds of muscle in 18 weeks. He was in the heavyweight division for all the wrong reasons a few years back, but now he looks great as a sculpted and lean heavyweight. Over the next hour, Ralph will share with us his secrets about training, nutrition, and supplementation. Let's welcome Ralph Zangara. Hi, Ralph.
Hi, how you doing, Dan?
Good. First of all, let's go back to, Clarence, New York, a couple of years ago. What was happening? What type of person were you?
Well, I allowed myself to get vastly out of shape. You get caught up in life with all the little things doing, such as job. I have 4 children. They take up an awful lot of time. I'm involved with them. And, of course, my eating habits became atrocious. I became a couch potato and did the late-night snacking thing. I'm a police officer by nature, and I did a lot of let's say donut shopping.
Yeah.
It showed. It takes its toll, and as we get older, our metabolism shows, and we can't eat like that and maintain that kind of calorie content and expect to look lean and fit.
Well, being Italian like me, was there big, Sunday dishes with pasta or what?
Well, Dan, I like my carbohydrates, pastas, donuts, and I'm a chocoholic too, so it wasn't hard to turn down almost any kind of carbohydrate.
How overweight were you, would you say, back then?
That was probably my worst ever phase, a good 40 pounds.
Good 40 pounds. All right, let's jump forward to today real quick. And who is Ralph Zangara, and what type of person are you?
Well, I feel much better about myself. I know I'm a better role model for my children, that if you want something in life, you go after it and you get it done. And unfortunately, many people talk about doing things, and it just ends there. You have to take it a step further. You have to not just talk about it. You got to have a plan set out, and then you got to take the action on that plan and follow it through. And I've done that. It seemed to have helped me in all the other areas of my life. I now look ahead to how I can be a success as a father, as a businessman, as a cop, and every other aspect.
Well, an awful lot obviously has happened in between, and it's the journey that we're interested in today. The Ralph before and the Ralph after. If you had to sum up the journey, what would you say?
That's a good question. And, I could put that in one word, invigorating. It's been an invigorating experience, and I'm renewed.
Let's go back then, and we'll start from the beginning. And what happens? Do you wake up one day and you say, my God, look at me, or enough is enough, or did something profound happen that you said, I've got to make a change?
Yeah, a couple different things, actually. I had a general ill feeling. Half the days you wake up, you don't feel healthy. You can get winded tying your shoes. You don't feel good about yourself. That all builds up, and then of course a couple other factors where my youngest child had some problems at birth, and her motor skills are very delayed, and I looked at her, and and she can't do things physical that a normal kid her age can do, and I looked at that as here I am on my big butt getting huge, and I can keep myself in shape. And then the third thing, of course, I did wake up one day, and it was around Christmas time. I looked in the mirror in the bathroom. I didn't have a shirt on, and I began to laugh loudly and long. And my wife wondered what was going on in there, and I had to literally laugh at myself because I looked like Santa Claus with a very rotundous middle.
Yeah.
And if I didn't laugh, I was going to, maybe break the mirror. So I said, that's all. And, I made a joke of myself, and, luckily she's very good-humored and still loved me for what I was. But, she supported me and said, that's it. After these holidays, I got to do something. This is just nuts.
Ralph, did it affect your work being an officer? I mean, we all know about the jokes about cops being heavy and hanging out at donut shops and stuff like that. But, I mean, being an officer, there's physical activity involved.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still play sports, too. I'm obviously, you're immensely quicker when you drop 22. It's like running around with two 20-pound dumbbells on each side of you. You take them off, you're a little quicker. I mean, if I have to chase somebody over a fence, I'd like to think I can make it over the fence without falling down. So I mean, that's just part of the whole picture. But I like I say, I still like to play some active sports like hockey and karate and such. And you have to be in a certain physical shape to do that.
Now, how did you stumble upon the contest, or how did you find out about the Physique Transformation Challenge?
Well, I went into the gym two ways. I went into the gym and there were some forms laying there on the counter for the contest. I had seen them, and then a couple months prior I had bought the Muscle Media magazine, and I really liked it a lot. And I found that real down to earth and very informative. And between the two of them, I just this is for me. It was there at the exact right time, and I just knew I was going to go for it, and I really thought I could win it.
Were there other sources of motivation? Like, for instance, was it the prizes, the challenge, the competition? What really turned you on?
Well, the prizes are always great. God bless them for them. They've really helped, obviously, but it gave me an incentive because it was something to shoot for. So I used it as a tool to basically catapult myself off the couch and get into the gym and do something and shoot for where I thought I could be in life as far as my physique.
When you got the material and the products, what did you think initially? Were you overwhelmed? Did you know what to do as far as the training and the nutrition and all of that, or were you just playing it by feel?
Well, I had previous weightlifting experience through my early years in football, and I've lifted a lot of weights in my time. So I basically knew what to do as far as how to lift. I didn't need any help in that area. The nutrition factors, I obviously needed some help in that area. I got a lot of info out of the magazine,
mm-hmm.
and then what I didn't know, I wasn't afraid to ask somebody that I thought might know, that might have been around in the gym or friends or whatever, as far as the actual dieting for the contest goes. But most of it probably came from the magazine. I mean, Bill actually got right down to your preparation for the photos and everything in a couple different issues. So it was very informative, and it helped me in that area.
Did you ever read the supplement review?
Yeah, absolutely.
How was that?
That's an awesome book. I mean, anybody that needs to know anything about supplement, everything's in there. I mean, it contains everything from A to Z, and he gets right down and tells you what he feels works and doesn't work. And again, I use that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I found that to be a tremendous tool as well. A lot of people who haven't worked out or haven't dieted or haven't done something like this don't know how difficult it is. When was the first time you wanted to quit?
The first time I wanted to quit was probably, you start off strong in something like that, and most people I find do start off strong, and then all of a sudden, around the third, fourth week, they get really weak as they watch. I was probably watching my kids eat their treats and having children. I didn't deny them anything, so that's kind of tough sometimes. You put out a bowl of chips for them or their popcorn with the butter on it to watch their movie, and you got to sit there and say, well, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That, and I was shopping, and once in our supermarkets around here, one of them is called Tops, and I was in Tops, and they were baking stuff, and the smell of that, I was with my brother-in-law. I actually had to run out of the store. He says, I got to go. He's, what's the matter, Ralph? No, you don't understand. I got to go, like, now.
But did you ever think, I can't do this, I'm going to give up?
To tell you the truth, no, not to that point. I guess I had come to the point in life I just so disgusted with what I had allowed myself to become that I was focused, and that's the way you got to be. Nothing comes easy. There's no shortcuts to it. You have to stay focused and see the end result, and I feel I did that for the most part.
Is there something that you can point your finger to, though, that kept you motivated during the whole process?
Yeah, there's a couple things, actually, a couple huge things that happened during it. I lost my cousin, who was basically my best friend and one of my mentors as a childhood. I didn't have a whole lot of them. I'd lost him on Easter Sunday at a very young age. He died of a heart attack, and that was a shocker, and that took a lot out of me. But I didn't let that destroy me, because my cousin was the kind of guy that He wrote an article in a karate magazine with the "Never Say Quit" as basically the title, and I more or less, wanted to do it for him and not let that destroy me. I mean, in life, there's a lot of little setbacks you're gonna get, or major setbacks, and I guess what makes or breaks us in the end is how we handle them. And I wasn't about to let that destroy me. I wanted that to motivate me, if anything. That and like I say again, my child and watching her struggle with something, that she couldn't do due to the damage done at birth, and why should I allow me, a perfectly healthy individual, to slack off and not do it? It's just an excuse.
Did you have a support group, or did someone help you with the process?
Yeah, my wife and my children were always very supportive, and that was great. But I got to say, more people probably think you're not going to do it than you're going to do it. And you can't do it for anybody else, or generally you're going to fail. You have to do it for you. And if you have that mindset, you can accomplish just about anything in life, I feel. And I did that for me. A lot of people looked and, basically, okay, right, they'll talk behind your back or a little snide remark or whatever.
Yeah.
A couple guys in the gym thought, obviously, if anybody can do it, Ralph can do it. But for the most part, no, I don't look to other people for support. Your immediate family, if it's a loving family, will always be there for you, and it's all you need. You need your own. It's got to come from within. If it doesn't, you're just looking for something that you're going to eventually give up, and you're looking for somebody else to push. It ain't going to happen.
What was the initial goal? Was there an initial goal? Did you really think you were going to win, or did you say, all right, maybe I'll do this just to get in better shape?
No, my initial goal was I was going to win, and if I didn't, I was, God bless the guy that beat me, and I was happy. I wanted to give it everything I had, and I was happy with the end result, and happy where I came with, and I could have accepted that, but it wasn't because I was going to be a lack of effort on my part. That's for sure.
People enter contests all the time, and we've talked a little bit about this, but few stick with it. You obviously stuck with it. Why do you think the majority of people aren't able to stick with this?
Well, that reverts right back to that first question you said, and probably they get off on the wrong foot, their reasons for doing it, and they look for people, well, if they make excuses in our own mind. I mean, I think generally society is negative, and we always look for a reason to. It's easier to quit for an excuse to quit rather than to finish out something to the end. And I wasn't going to be part of that. Again, it has to come from you. And you have to envision yourself as the final picture, and that's the way I think any real successful businessman and or person has that kind of mindset.
You talked about some of the tough issues, for instance, having to watch your kids eat the goodies and the snacks. Were there other tough issues to deal with during the contest, maybe from an emotional barrier or something along that line?
Well, yeah, it seemed like there was always something thrown my way, some adversity of some sort to take me off track. I mean, I had a few little troubles on the job, and that I knew I was totally shouldn't have been involved in. But that was one part. My cousin's death was a hugie. I had a daughter that I thought I was going to lose. The oldest one had to get rushed to the hospital in the middle of it. I thought I was going to lose her. She got dehydrated due to the fever. I mean, there was financial problems. I mean, but you see, these are all excuses. And we conveniently, most people that is, conveniently use them to take us off track and keep us down. And that's what this world is. And, that this isn't a perfect world. The way to get by in this world is you have to keep your eyes above and set on the goals. And again, I thank God that he shines through me, because now, as it turns out, everything, my daughter's doing great. I know where my cousin is, and saw the end result of what I did, and the job I'm working again. That's awesome. I mean, everything's working out great. I got to meet Bill Phillips and his brother Sean and the EAS staff, and I'll tell you what, that was an experience in itself. They're great. That was an experience of a lifetime that I'll never forget.
You've obviously had a lot of success. As you were going through the challenge, how did you measure your success? I mean, how did you know that you were making progress and doing well?
Well, that wasn't hard to see, buddy. All you had to do was have a mirror. And guys in the gym would say, certain people that see me a lot say, God, you losing weight? Or, man, and I mean, I'd tell you what, when it got towards the end, I had actual people that didn't recognize me. And that's pretty inspiring, too, when, you've changed that much and you can see it. You even see it in your face. I mean, you don't have to have your shirt off even. Just, you drop, a couple of them chins you had. So, I mean, that's inspiring enough. And, you got to take that little bit of positive feedback you get and you feed off that. And it was noticeable. So it was very rewarding.
How long was it before your wife said to you, Ralph, wow, honey, you look awesome?
Yeah, she said it right along the line. I guess the big turn probably was, after about 6 to 8 weeks, she started really noticing that, hey, look, you're dropping down a lot of weight. I wasn't even fitting into the pants anymore that I had.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from a size, I think they were either 40 or 42s, but I mean, we're not talking about 40, 42 loose. We're talking about 42 with a lot of overhang, down to I had went and bought jeans that were 32s.
Wow.
That's quite a drop.
No question. 18 weeks later, you have a new body, and we'll get into exactly how you did it in a second, but did you have to pinch yourself when you looked in the mirror? I mean, could you believe it?
Yeah, I could believe it. It made me happy, although don't get me wrong, I'm not the kind of individual that I look in the mirror and think, that I'm next to God or something, but you always want to improve.
Right.
But I was very happy with, the fact that I was able to finish it and get where I wanted to go, and people had taken notice. And again, it renews you in a whole lot of different areas. It not only, it starts with your own body, but I think any successful person, if you can't take care of your own physical health, chances are a lot of other things ain't going right in your life.
One day you find out, 18 weeks later, from Bill Phillips, that you're a finalist in the challenge, the Physique Transformation Contest. Describe the feeling when you were told you were a winner.
Well, I'll tell you, when they finally told me, it was awesome, because those guys are tricksters over there.
They keep you in the dark for a little
bit.
Well,
they send me something telling me I was 4th runner-up or something. So right away I was like, I was kind of a little down a little bit at first. I said, oh man, I thought I had it, and my wife saw I was kind of like a little depressed about it. But they, that was all so they could surprise you, which sort of like the candid camera type deal.
Right.
But, when they finally, they were going to do a profile, and that's how they got around to fooling me about my actual finish.
Right.
When they finally told me, I was elated, and, I was all pumped up. I was not only pumped up to stay in that physical condition, I was even pumped up to bring it a step further and further along and be as good as I can be.
And then 10 of you, the 10 co-champions, are flown out to EAS headquarters for the finals, and at the time you think only one of you will be EAS champ, but Bill makes a change. He makes all of you co-champs. All of you get the money and a new Corvette. Was that a dream come true?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That was awesome. I mean, I don't know. I can't picture a better ending story. Can you? We talked about that on the flight home with me and my wife. Even if I had been the sole winner, it wouldn't have been worth it. I mean, he created a unity between 10 people. I mean, that'll last a lifetime, and they are all winners. They all come from different walks of life and different ages, and there was different type of transformations. Again, the final choice there, that should be applauded long and loudly.
Now, what do your friends say at the gym when you pull up in the new Corvette with the new body? All those guys who said, he won't make it. What are they saying now?
Well, I'll tell you what, probably half of them are jealous as heck.
Yeah. And
the other half, the good half, are real happy and proud, and those are the kind of guys that I love sharing it with, and they feel great, and they look at it and, man, this is awesome. And I'm glad I have kept the vet. I still have it. It's gorgeous. It's a competition yellow with a black interior, and you pull up, and for all them doubters, it's great to pull up and watch their jaws drop.
Yeah. Well, it's been a year since you were named co-champion, and besides the Corvette, really, how has your life changed?
Again, it's gave me redirection. I feel that in the end result of it, it isn't just even about being physically transformed. It's about being mentally transformed. I'm ready to conquer, new mountains as far as my personal life and business go. As far as being a father and financial success, and again, the physical aspect, that becomes a lifelong commitment, and as it should be.
Is this where you want to be at this stage of your life?
Oh no, it's never. I think if you really have got the right mindset, you're never really where you want to be. I think you're always trying to think, where do I want to be 4 or 5 years down the road? You shouldn't be thinking about, am I absolutely content now? I don't know if I'll ever feel that way, and I don't really ever want to be that way. I always think I can improve in every area of my life. Once
upon a time, I'm sure you looked at one of those magazines like Muscle Media, and you said, did you ever say, looking through there, geez, I'd like to look like that guy, or one time I did look that good? Now people are opening up magazines like Muscle Media, and they're looking at you. How does that feel?
Kind of put you in the spotlight. 3 weeks ago, we went on vacation to the Poconos, and I was noticed by 3 different individuals there through the movie body of work, and that's pretty awesome. They come up to you and they look up to you and say, how'd you do this, and ask you different questions. It makes you, really gives you a sense of pride, and it's been very rewarding again, like I say.
Yeah, and you don't shy away from people coming up to you and saying, hey, Ralph, I saw you in the movie, or I saw you in the magazine. Can you help me?
Oh, no, I'm more than happy to help them. And, any question they got, I help them, and I tell them like it is. Try to reflect upon them what worked for me, and hopefully it'll work for them.
I have heard from talking to the other co-champions that they are always amazed at the type of people and the variety of people that either recognize them from the movie body of work or from Muscle Media. Like, for instance, Everett, he said, I had kids and grandmothers and everybody in between coming up and talking to me about training.
Yeah, he's right. And I've had the same experience. All sorts of individuals, both male and female, and all ages, and all shapes and sizes, for that matter. And almost everywhere I've been. I mean, my son had a hockey tournament up in Toronto at the middle of August, and I'm in some mall in there in Toronto, and somebody came up and recognized me in a different that's a different country, in the mall, and said, hey, you're the EAS guy, aren't you? So it's great. Again, I'm real happy to share that with anybody that dare ask. So.
Are you still training at the same gym?
Generally, yes. Yeah, I'm at the same gym. I'm at a Gold's gym that's located in Amherst, close to my home.
And when you're in the gym, and now this could sometimes be a negative, but a lot of the guys say, well, sometimes I have a difficult time getting through my own workout because people are saying, hey, can you help me with triceps? Do you have something good for the abs? That type of thing.
That's very true, too. For a while there, it seemed like I'd run into the gym and I'd want to get, a 40-minute workout in, or even a 20-minute workout, and I'd end up talking for an hour before I even started, because, you just got so many people coming up and asking questions, and my workouts that were normally taking less than an hour were starting to take 2 hours. So that was, but again, I think that's all rewarding, in a compliment rather than a hindrance, and that's the way I look at it. I don't begrudge anybody to ask me questions, and I try to help everybody the best possible way I can.
How about pressure? Did you feel any pressure now being an EAS champion with a certain amount of celebrity status that, hey, I not only have to keep myself in excellent shape, but I'm a role model for others, and I need to stay motivated and at the same time motivate others. Was there pressure involved there?
Yeah, I don't know if you reverted to a pressure, but yeah, that's a good point. For example, in the Poconos, I mean, right after a meal, somebody came up to me and recognized me, and I'm like, thinking the whole time I talk, man, why'd I have that piece of pie? But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can. It's I think it's more like my duty, and I take that personal. I don't want myself to ever look like that again, obviously, but yeah, it gives me a sense of pride, and I'd like to take it even a step further. I'd like to be more or less, well, here was Ralph before, here was Ralph after, and here's Ralph after again. So we do the before, after, and after, and get to a point where I'm as good as a couple of them guys on the cover. So that's my goal now. Now it's like, well, I'm hooked now.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, as I repeat, I think you can always improve in every area. So it becomes a way of life, and I'm not going to stop because I made it and all of a sudden, regain that girth in my midsection by any stretch of the imagination.
Now that you're a champ, how do you avoid complacency? I mean, how do you avoid from slipping?
Again, you have to stay in a decent regime, and the diet becomes almost second nature. You after doing it so long, you kind of know what works for you and don't. I mean, I know in my mind what a tablespoon of peanut butter or 2 tablespoons of peanut butter comes out to be. 9 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat, or 3 grams of carbs, 16 grams of fat for 200 calories. I know what good meals are. I mean, I know I can have a Mileplex shake and a Mileplex Deluxe, and it's 300 grams of calories, with 42 grams of protein in it.
Right. And
I still live by them. I mean, those take up at least 2 of my meals a day, and you have to have the proper nutrition. And we are what we eat. Basically, it's very simple.
Yeah.
I mean, if I start eating donuts again, I'm going to start looking like one.
What advice would you give to someone who needs to get motivated from what you've learned?
Well, again, the largest single factor I think that I can give to them is they owe it to themselves, and that they have to do it for themselves. You can't start thinking I got to do it for somebody else, because I don't think that's enough to get you through the hump. I don't think that's enough to see you through to the finish. You have to really want it, and you have to realize that it's a longer life. Not only is your life enhanced in quality, but in quantity, in the aspect that you actually are now more healthier and are probably going to live a longer life. Those are 2 great reasons right there, quality and quantity.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. I was going to ask you, what are the 3 most important factors in making this change? So quality and quantity are certainly 2.
Absolutely. I mean, why shouldn't I live life feeling good about myself rather than going through my last, my second half of my life, or my 50s and my 60s and my 40s, thinking, I don't feel good about myself. If we're going to live, why don't we want to, live feeling good about ourselves, know we're in a healthy state as far as physically, and know that I can be around as long as possible for my children. And, personally, I'd like to see my children's children, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the blood, sweat, and tears. And, is that what it was for you? I mean, working out in the gym, in the dieting, how would you describe it?
Well, again, there's no shortcuts. There's no miracle drugs out there. It's a commitment. It's hard work. It's diet. First and foremost, you better be on a proper diet, and that's just the way it is. It's the resistance training, and of course, it's the supplements, the proper supplements. Time is important to me. I put it this way. I want to get the most of what I put into something. If I can get somewhere in 1 month would normally take me in 6 months, why would I train 6 months and take 6 times as long or even longer than that? So, supplements were a big part of it too. But it's in that order, It's the diet, the training, resistance training, as well as cardio, and, of course, the proper supplementation.
What do you say to those who are skeptical, who look at the picture and say, well, I don't believe you can change that much in 12 weeks?
Well, I hopefully am driving my Corvette. And, all they got to do is look at the before and afters. I mean, there's no trick photography there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. And it's not possible. It happened, so.
Well, you understand how some people could think it sounds too good to be true in just 12 weeks.
Oh, well, one of the persons I just met, obviously, that's a good point. It was a male, and he was, hey, how you doing? And talking to me and my wife, and his wife had came up, and he told me on the side, well, I'm real happy my wife's seen you, because she was at the impression, this ain't real. Those aren't real people. And as luck would have it for him, he sees me in the mountains. So again, that's just another excuse. Well, those aren't real people, or that's fixed, or they can't do that, or they can't do that because you don't really want to do that. That's the real deal. So you build up any excuse you can in your mind not to go at it.
How about this myth? Some people look at an amazing physique transformation such as yours, and they think, you know what, he must have needed a lot of money. he had a personal trainer, he had a nutritionist, he needed 2 or 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. I don't have all that. I can't do that.
Well, let me throw that myth away. First of all, as I stated prior, I didn't have no personal trainer. Weightlifting, I had a lot of knowledge prior. As far as the nutritionist, no, that probably would be expensive. But all the knowledge you need as far as the training and the nutrition, and I can't say enough, you can get right out of the magazine. Mm-hmm. And I did get, like I say, it's a wealth of knowledge. That's all you need out of that. And as far as the money goes, I mean, I don't understand the philosophy in that at all. We'll take the shakes, for example. I mean, the average cost of a shake is under $2. Where are you going to beat that at? Yeah. So how can that cost? How can that not be cost effective? And I've blown more money in my life over some silly things than I've ever done on spending on my body and the way I look and feel in life. So it's all there. All you need to do is get a copy of the supplement review if you want to know anything about supplements. Training and diet are covered extensively in Bill's magazine. Or I'm sure there's enough people even in the gym. You got a question? Ask somebody. As the money goes, I'm quite certain that people spend more money more foolishly than they do constructively. I mean, instead of going out and buying that double order chicken wings, why don't you go out and buy a box of Mileplex and get started?
You've reached the end of Side 1. Please turn the tape over for more of this interview.
Let's get into the how-to, the nuts and bolts, because this is what people really want to know, and that is how you did it. So let's start with your training program. Pretend like I know nothing about working out, and walk me through your week.
All right. Well, first of all, I split my body parts.
Okay.
I'm not a believer that you train the whole body in one day. And let me say this, through like many years of lifting and previous experience, I've experimented with various ways of lifting. I'm a believer in your basic sets and standard sets, what they call basic sets, and exercises. So my week would begin, for this contest, I basically did what they call a 3-on, 1-off week. That meaning that I split my body parts into 3 days, and then the 4th day is a rest. It's a 4-week rotation. I split my body parts personally into, on the chest, the first day I do chest, shoulders, tries. It's a push type routine.
Okay.
And then the middle day, let's say like on a Monday, chest, shoulder, tries, and abs. Okay. Middle days, legs. I always do legs alone. They're the largest muscle group in your body, and of course they should be separated. And if you're doing them right, that's more than enough to exhaust you. The 3rd day is the pull. It's the back, biceps, and forearms again with abs. And the 4th day is a rest day.
And then you repeat the process the same way after the rest day?
Exactly, but with a little variance there. I'm also a believer in what they call heavy light days.
Okay.
For example, the first time I go through the 3-on, 1-off, I'll do chest heavy, and the shoulders and tries I'll stay light. Second time I go through that 3-day session, or the 4-day session, I do the chest light and the shoulders and tries a little heavier. The reason for this is to shock the muscle. You'll hear that it's good to shock the muscle, and I don't believe that you have to be eccentric when you do this. This is a twofold reason I do this. Number one, by going the light day, you're training a different kind of fiber muscle, a different kind of fiber in your muscle, and you're flushing the blood. Your chest. We'll take chest for example. With blood, it rushes blood to the area and it speeds up the recovery for the days you did have heavy. Plus, it acts as a shocking type of effect. So I always go heavy, light, heavy, light. I used to train in my younger years. I do chest twice a week and go heavy as much as I can. I always thought more was better, and I was very wrong. As a matter of fact, I had maintained soreness, and I try to train through it. And a lot of people don't realize that it's very easy to overtrain, either through the length of their workout and or through the fact that all they're trying to do is constantly go heavy. So I use that heavy light principle and for those two reasons flush the muscle. You're training different fibers. You're shocking the muscle, and again, it's acting as a rest period in between your heavy days. My workouts generally don't last over an hour. Anything over that can kind of get into counterproductive. You only got so much glycogen storage to begin with.
Right.
And intensity is the key here. Length of time has nothing to do with intensity. If you're performing these sets not only with the proper movement, and as far as the form and speed, and with the shortened rest period, that's what intensity is about. It doesn't mean that if you're in the gym 3 hours, that it's intense. And I'm positive of that.
Yeah.
Also, with the fact that most people don't have 3 hours to spend in the gym.
Sure.
So I mean, if you're going to train, you get the most effective use out of your time. So what I do basically for sets on, like, say, the Monday we're talking the chest, shoulder, tri is...
Yeah, let's go to Monday and start with chest.
All right, on a Monday, what I do for chest is, like, say, on a heavy day, I'll do dumbbell, either inclines and flat benches. I'll keep it to about 8 to 10 sets on the bench. On a heavy day, I'm going 6 to 8 reps, and, to the maximum there. I generally throw in 2 to 3 exercises for the chest. Some of those exercises are like incline benches with the dumbbell or the bar, and flat benches, of course. I do flies, sometimes closed crib bench, and cable crossovers. Those are the variants I use on the chest.
All right, so 2 to 3 exercises
Right.
for the chest. Your reps are somewhere between 6 and 8 on a heavy day.
That's a heavy day, right. Generally speaking, to gain mass, your reps are going to be between 6 and 8 reps on your arms, chest. There'll be a slightly more on your back. It's a bigger muscle, 8 to 10. And on your legs, I don't go below. I never go below 8. You can get very good effects with 8 to 10 reps on a light day. Legs is 15 reps. On a light day, back's 12 to 15 reps. And on a light day, chest, shoulders, and arms are 8 to 10. They go up a couple of reps. And, of course, the weight goes down. The rest time speeds up a little bit. And I'll change maybe the order of which I do the exercises.
How many sets would you say that you do for your chest?
Chest, I do between 10, never over 12.
Total?
Total.
For all the 3 exercises?
That's correct.
Okay, and then when you get to smaller muscles like triceps on the same day, how many sets would you do there?
Now, triceps is, again, a smaller muscle group, so your sets are going down. Shoulders, I'm at about the 10 max range for sets. Arms, I don't do over 6. I'll go into legs. I'm doing probably some of the exercises there would be leg extensions, leg curls. I do hacks. I like leg presses. Lunges are very good. And once in a great while, squats.
And how many sets we talking for legs?
Again, I train legs alone, of course, and of course you got to throw calves in. I'll probably do 4 to 5 sets of calves. I start with my calves or the smaller muscle group because by the time you're done bombing your legs,
yeah,
and there's not a whole lot of energy, or do you feel like doing calves?
Right.
That's a good way that I don't skip it. For legs, again, I'll probably do 12 to 15 sets max.
That sounds great. Now, how about your cardiovascular program?
Cardiovascular, I do generally 4 times a week. And again, the timing here is important for cardio. I don't ever do it on leg day. And when I do it, I try to do it upon arising in the morning. I get a little bit of caffeine, maybe a cup of coffee in me, and within 30 minutes, I either go to the gym and do a Stairmaster, or I have a treadmill at home. I'm on that. That's your most productive time for burning fat. After a good night's sleep, your glycogen storage is a little low, and it'll grab your fat. Of course, you got to be in the right target heart rate zone. And that's another biggie because people tend to think that you have to run, fast and long to burn fat, and that's just not true. Generally speaking, if you can hold a conversation while you're sweating, you're in a good range. Another way to know you're in that range is according to age. My age, I try to be between 20 and 22 beats, what I call beats, heartbeats per 10 seconds, and that's easy enough to do. You just during the course of your exercise, you put your 2 fingers on your carotid artery in your neck, and you have a stopwatch or whatever you have there for 10 seconds. You count your beats. If I'm within 20 to 22, That's the effective range for me for fat burning. On a treadmill, for me, that's usually a speed of about 4.0, and I elevate it a little bit for a little more resistance, maybe up to 4.0, and that's my favorite going into that. My two favorite exercises for cardio are the treadmill followed by the Stairmaster.
And about 4 times a week at about 30 to 40 minutes.
That's right, 30 to 40 minutes, 4 times a week, and again, that's very effective. That obviously was very effective for me. And if you can't get there in the morning, sometimes I'll do it I'll do it nighttime, but preferably in the morning.
How about sleep and water? How important are those two factors in your training?
Your fat has to have a way out of your body. You have to up your water intake immensely. Not only is it healthy, but it allows the fat to a way out of your body. Sleep, again, you can't function if you can't sleep, and that's almost in any aspect. For me, everybody's different. Again, I try to get my 8 hours sleep in. Of course, some days you can, you can't. And as far as the water goes, I try to get a gallon of it in a day if possible. I'll go out and I'll get a liter and I'll fill it with water from the tap or whatever have you, or buy it in the store and drink that as much as often as I can.
Did you have a training partner?
No, I don't. I don't have a training partner. Due to my work schedule and the fact that I have children and they're in many activities, it wasn't conducive to my lifestyle. So my training wasn't at a set time, set day. Not that there's nothing wrong with it. That's great if you can do that. But mine had to have a little variance in it, due to other priorities in life.
Do you recommend free weights or machines, or a nice combination of both?
I like a combination. Again, I'm from the old school, and I believe in that your basic sets and exercises. I use a lot of free weights, but there's some great machines out there, and they can be, put into the program. And I go back and forth. Again, I don't stay with any one exercise every single time I work out. And that's the nice thing about being a little variant as far as what you might do. Like one day, for example, I might do, for biceps, I might do preacher biceps with an easy curl bar, and then go do a couple concentration curls. Okay, next time I work out, well, I might go to a standing dumbbell or a standing barbell curl, and then end that with something even different in there. Maybe a couple hammer curls for forearms or whatever have you. But you can mix and match that way. But I have my basic exercises, and you don't do them all each workout, but you stay with them.
What advice could you give someone who's going to a gym environment for the very first time? Because it can be very intimidating. How would you overcome that?
Well, I think that when you go to a gym, like I say, if you're a little bit lost, don't be shy. Ask questions to who you think, a guy that would be friendly and might know something to you, or to one of the staff. And you got to get into your own thing. And I think for a beginner, or even an intermediate, it's nice to keep a record of what you're doing, so that you got something to reflect back on and say, well, what did I do this day as far as poundages and sets, and where you're going. And again, everybody's built different. Everybody looks different. I don't get intimidated, or I never have been in my whole life, about anybody else in the gym, and nobody else should. I mean, you want to look the best you can. We can't all be, in my day it was Arnold Schwarzenegger and guys at Franco Colombo and them guys. I mean, we can't all look like them, but I can be the best that Ralph can be, and whoever you are, you can be the best you are, and that's what it's all about anyways.
All right, the other real objective to this for a lot of people is the time factor. I don't have the time, I can't sneak it in. You've already said that your workouts don't go longer than an hour. Can you kind of give us what your day is set up like?
Well, again, that's just an excuse. Again, people that say, well, I ain't got 3 hours to train. Well, it doesn't take 3 hours to train. If you're training 3 hours, you're not training right. So what my day is like basically is I'll get up early enough that I know that, for example, if I had to work at 7 a.m., which I don't, but if I had to do that, I'd be up at 5:30. I'd take my coffee. I'd take a big 2 full glasses of water prior to the treadmill. I'd get on the treadmill my 30 minutes. I'd go into the shower and get ready for work and eat there after my breakfast, after I did my cardio, and then the day starts there. If it's a regular work day, coming home from work, I might want to train after supper with my children. I might want to train in the evening just prior to them going to bed or after they're going to bed. And I get if it's a workout day, again, every day isn't a workout day with weights, I do my 45 to 60 minutes workout, and you get it in. It really doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in effect, what are you really training with resistance weight training? 4 to 5 hours a week, top, if you're training right.
All right, Ralph, let's talk about nutrition. A lot of people want to know how you ate, what type of supplements you took, how you combined them, when you ate, how you did everything throughout your day. And let's start out with your meals. What did you eat and how did you plan them?
Okay, well, that's again, you are what you eat. It starts right with what you're putting in your mouth, and if anybody thinks different, they're fooling themselves. I've seen so many people over the course of my lifting years and that at the gym, they don't change. They don't change at all. If anything, they might even get worse, and it makes no sense. They're wasting their time. For me, I'll tell you, I was more concerned with the fat loss, so what I concentrated on was keeping my protein high, my fats mediocre, and my carbohydrates low. Contrary to public opinion, all you see advertised out there is fat-free, fat-free. Well, guess what? If you don't eat fat, you probably won't burn fat. You need a certain amount of fat in your diet, the right kind of fat, unsaturated that is, to burn fat. For me, I look at carbohydrates, I look like Boyer smoothie.
Yeah.
That's a huge. What people don't understand is by taking in a high amount of carbohydrates, that gets changed to fat quicker than fat does. And let me explain really quick before I get into the food how it does that. You have your glycemic level, index level, and this is a key on how losing weight, to keep that at a steady rate. When you take in a large meal, so we spoke about pasta prior, that's a perfect example. Pasta is a simple carbohydrate, despite what you might think it'd be about being complex. When you take in a large amount of carbohydrates and an overabundance in a meal like that, what it does is it raises your blood sugar level, and your body naturally pumps out insulin. The insulin, in effect, to lower your blood sugar level, changes it into triglycerides, which, if you've ever heard that term before,
Sure.
is fat, and that gets stored right in your adipose cells. Carbohydrates for me, they don't work. And I found that the more I limited them and then changed them to what carbohydrates I was taking in, the proper ones, my results were, very effective. Where I got my carbohydrates from, getting into that, is my shakes had some in it, and that was a good form of carbohydrates. Rolled oats or oatmeal, I got them from, maybe I had like a piece of a banana a day, maybe one fruit at the most. Whole wheats, once in a great while, maybe a bagel.
Rice or potato?
Rice, potato, brown rice generally.
Mm-hmm.
Potato, not on the same day. Those are both kind of very high loaded.
Yeah.
And again, your dark green vegetables like spinach and broccoli are excellent. Those are my basis of the carbohydrates.
All right, how many meals did you have in a day?
5 to 6 meals a day.
All right, now how many of those were food?
3 of those meals were food-oriented meals, at the most 4 of them, but at least 2 of them were meal replacement in the Mileplex shakes.
All right, tell me about the real food meals. What did you sit down and eat?
Well, you know where I got my carbohydrates from.
Mm-hmm.
The protein came from either tuna fish, egg whites. Again, there's the Mileplex shakes supplied a large amount of my protein. Chicken, turkey, lean flank steak was the red meat, or top round. That would be the only places you get the red meat from, and those would be the protein. My fats came from flaxseed oil, either natural peanut butter, the actual crushed peanuts without the sugar and salt in them, and almonds, and of course there's a little bit in oatmeal as well. And one of the supplements I took was the time CLAs, and now they have EFAs, essential fatty acids. I relied on them heavily for bringing in some of the essential fatty acids that was necessary for breaking down the fat.
All right.
Breakfast was a regular meal. That was generally your egg whites, your oatmeal type deal. I believe the second meal, of course, and you could interchange. It depends on where you're at and what you're doing.
Right.
Would be a Myoplex shake would be my second meal. The third meal might be some chicken, some brown rice, and maybe some almonds with it. I'd actually count almonds, believe it or not. Every 2 almonds equals 1 gram of fat.
Right.
And my post-workout, I know that's an important part too. The most carbohydrates came from my post-workout meal and my breakfast. Post-workout is when you want to have your larger carbohydrate meal to replenish your muscles from getting, drained through the workout. And of course, in breakfast, to give you the energy for the day. I generally tried not to take carbohydrates at all in my last meal of the day or my last 2 meals, depending on when my training period was. And again, some of these shakes I didn't. I brought around with me. I pre-mixed them, put them in a quart container, and a couple ice cubes in with them, and that was more than convenient. And I used that as a meal. And I try to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. You space out your meals as well. That's very important.
Yeah.
That keeps what that does is you got proper assimilation of the food. You don't eat till you're stuffed, obviously, and it speeds up your metabolism immensely, and that's the key too. You want to speed up your metabolism in order to be burning fat at a better rate.
All right, so to review for everyone, Ralph consumed 3 regular food meals a day and then 2 to 3 supplement shakes a day, and you used the Myoplex Deluxe?
At the time, yes. At the time, Myoplex Deluxe actually wasn't out. I was using the Plus.
The Plus, okay.
Myoplex Plus, I use the Deluxe now.
All right. And what were some of the other supplements you mentioned that you used besides the shakes?
Some of the other supplements I used Cytovol. That was Cytovol is L-glutamine. It's the largest amino acid that's found in your muscles. I used that at nighttime before I went to bed. Betagen was a Yuji for me. That's creatine and HMB combined.
How often would you use that a day?
I use that 4 times a day, upon rising, upon going to sleep, and either post-workout and one other time during the day.
Okay.
I use that. I use your fatty acids. I use them. The Myoplex shakes, of course. And then I used a couple other little things. Sometimes I used GKG, which was a post-workout thing, replenishing the muscle with L-glutamine and such like that. They were in tablet form. They were very convenient. And I used a good multiple also. I want to state that. And since then, Neolite came out with a line of multiple. I now use them, and I separate them through the day, 4 in the morning, afternoon, and nighttime.
Okay. To review for everyone, a typical day included about 250 to 300 grams of protein. Is that correct?
That's correct. How much? 250 to 300. That's right.
Right. 100 to 200 grams of carbohydrates, which you mostly got through shakes, and around 40 grams of fat. Right.
That's correct.
If you had to recommend one supplement that somebody says, "Well, I can only really get one, or I can only afford one, I only have time for one," what would that be?
Well, you got to have the protein. You got to have the shakes.
Okay. You
got to have the meal, and you got to have the protein. I don't see how you can replace them. They're convenient. They're easy to use, and they're providing you with the amount of protein you need to maintain and gain muscle.
Was it difficult to keep track of all this? Because the person listening says, wow, between the training, the food, the supplements, it all seems a little overwhelming. I don't know if I can keep track of it all.
No, that wasn't overwhelming at all. I mean, at first, of course, I recorded too, but like I say, you get to the thing where it becomes second nature, and you know what you should be taking, what you should be eating to attain the proper results, and you've got down basically what you're doing today, all day long.
Do you think you could have achieved the incredible physique transformation that you did without the supplements?
No, I don't, and I want to reflect on. Again, it's a time thing with me. My time's very important as a father of 4 and work a full-time job and other activities that I do. I want the most out of my time. And you're any individual out there, I think everybody feels the same. That becomes, the older you get, that becomes more of a commodity and an asset you got the least of. I want the most out of what I'm going to put into it, and I feel the supplements jettison me, light years ahead where I would have been without it. There's no way that I would have gained them results without it. I've had futile results before dieting and lost too much muscle mass or not had the quickest results as I did, and I'm quite convinced that again that was the difference between being able to do it in 12 to 14 weeks and maybe never doing it. So
yeah. Finally, did you have a cheat day, or did you allow yourself to indulge once in a while? Because some people are thinking, my God, if I had to eat like that every single day, I might go crazy. It might be too much.
Yeah, I did. Not at first when I started, but I got into and I found out it was better, actually. I had better results, believe it or not, with one cheat day a week.
Yeah.
I would say that my cheat day was a Sunday. It was more of a family day, and not that you went out and went totally nuts, but yes, I'd have my pizza in there or my steak or whatever. Mm-hmm. And for some reason that seemed to help my metabolism, get better. And it took the edge off. And when Monday rolled around, I was all psyched up again to get going. Okay, well, let's get it on again. I actually felt a little guilty about cheating on the Sunday, and as a result, I actually was dropping a fat percentage at a quicker clip than when I wasn't cheating.
Wow. Okay. Ralph, a lot of people may be thinking after listening to this doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Was it fun?
Well, it wasn't. It was. Let's put it this way. It was less fun being fat and out of shape.
Yeah.
And not feeling good about yourself and basically feeling like, a pile of dirt.
What are some of the hidden rewards that people aren't going to think of when listening to this tape?
Quality and quantity of life. Somebody looking at you, your kid looking up to you, seeing a twinkle in his eye, and being proud of you, of what you look like and what you did. That can't be replaced. Feeling good about yourself, when you walk into some place that you're not this obese kind of guy, and or jumping into a pool and not afraid to take off your shirt. All little things, a million little things like that I just can't describe.
Well, what's long-term success mean to you?
Long-term success? Geez, I couldn't sum that up in any one word. That's feeling good about yourself. How about that? That's feeling like you're a success, knowing you've made a mark in life and in all aspects that you were capable of doing it. And I think that every person out there, man and woman, owes that to himself as well as the man above.
Along with the new lifestyle, is there a new philosophy about life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I can. How about real simple? 2 words, I can, and you could follow it up with I will. That I just put it. That's as simple and straightforward as I can put it, and or as Nike says, just do it.
But before, it wasn't an I can or an I will, was it?
No, before it was what we talked about prior. Well, I'll start next week. Well, I don't know. It's like I don't feel like it, or that's too much, or I can't. To be simple in that aspect, I can't do it. And again, I think society is generally negative, and as long as that's got a hold of your mind, you're not going to do it.
If someone asks you, Ralph, I'm getting ready to start this journey, is it worth it?
That's a very simple question. Absolutely. I'll sum that up in absolutely. I can't think anything more worth it. Is there anything more worth living longer and living healthier? Is there anything better than feeling good about you, or being all that you can become? If that ain't important to you, I don't know what is. I don't know what your values are.
What was the best piece of advice you received, and can you pass it on? Did somebody come up to you and say something that really inspired you, and you said, "Hey, if I ever have the opportunity, I'm going to pass that on to other people"?
Yeah, and it kind of shocked me. It came from my mother. She told me a line, and I felt that way, but I never, and I repeated it, and it's in the video. As a matter of fact, what we are is a gift from God, and what we do with it is a gift to God. And I think that it was just amazing, and that just about says it all. And anything I can become in life, I give glory to him, and I thank him. And again, I'm quite sure that he wants all of us to be a success and not a failure, and to be everything we're capable of being.
Ralph, is there anything that we've missed before we wrap up today? Is there anything that you want to say or share with someone as they are listening and they're thinking about possibly changing their lives and their bodies?
Just share that again, I feel like a change. I know I am a changed person. It's invigorated me to know that I can accomplish and get goals that I always wanted, but didn't go after, and it's given me a new vigor to go after these things, and changed my lifestyle to accomplish what I'm going to in all aspects again. And I'm not done with it. It becomes a lifelong commitment, and it's a great thing to do. I mean, it teaches my children the right way, and I'm not going to stop. Again, I feel very rewarded and blessed from above, and it's just, I can't put it in the words, the feeling you got of success when you do something of that nature for yourself.
Ralph, thanks so much for being with us. Remember, as Ralph says, there are no miracle drugs that allow you to sit on your behind and shed fat and gain muscle. But there is a way: proper nutrition, supplementation, and regular exercise. That will help anyone win the battle of the bulge.
On behalf of the entire EAS team and staff of Muscle Media Magazine, thank you for listening. And remember, our goal is to help you achieve your goals. If we can help you in any way, give us a call at 1-800-297-9776 or visit the EAS website at www.eas.com. Ralph Zangara achieved extraordinary results during EAS's 1997 Physique Transformation Challenge from his unique program of training, nutrition, and supplementation. Because individuals differ, their results will differ, even using the same training, nutrition, and supplementation programs. Before commencing any program of exercise, nutrition, or supplementation, consult with your doctor, particularly if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, chronically ill, elderly, or under the age of 18, or if you're taking any prescription or other medications.